been great. It's time for an all-new Get Real.
Get real.
Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Great. Well, let's get right in. Oh no.
Are you okay? Are you okay? Oh my god.
No. No. Oh my god. No.
No. No.
Episode 99, Miss Pingrino.
Go, we're the mini.
99, that's right. Welcome, everybody, to episode 99 of...
Get.
Real.
Okay.
I'm Hot Toddy.
I'm Miss Pingrino.
And the one, yeah, exactly. The one inappropriately touching me is Miss Pingrino. We'll talk to HR shortly after this. Okay, well, now we just have more, and we have video proof as well. So, there you go.
Oh well.
There you go. There you go.
I'm fired. Good night.
Oh, there you go.
It flames on the side of my face.
Would you report me to HR if I did this?
I don't know what just happened. I apologize to the world for that.
Everything come apart.
You're confident. You're strong.
We can't have nice things.
We can't have
No, yes. If you didn't get by what I did, I don't know. If you didn't get what I did there, we just saw Michael, the Michael Jackson biopic.
We saw Alan Jackson.
We saw, it was Alan Jackson, the Alan Jackson biopic.
Shout out to Mr. Krabs.
Mr. Krabs told us a story he probably shouldn't have told us, where as he was growing up, he would get Alan Jackson and Michael Jackson confused.
Bitch, are you for real?
No, I tell you, as we're getting into this, I really don't know what to say about this movie. I have literally been doing my research and debating and thinking and talking and doing all these big words about this movie. And
Erroneous.
It's cattywampus.
What?
I don't know. I've just been thinking a lot about this movie, so that's why I'm so glad that when we do these shows, I say this at the beginning of the episode. So, Miss Pingrino, what did you think of Michael?
I enjoyed it.
Mm-hmm.
It was a little long.
You can't. I'm sorry. Hold it. You can't use that as a talking point at this point in time. Every movie.
I know.
is 40 hours long.
I'm just putting it out there to start with. I did find it a very good movie. It's not like I didn't want to see it. I did. Kind of sad that we only got part of the story.
Yeah, and we're gonna touch on that because that's a very important situation.
Right. I guess I don't really know Michael Jackson's background, so I don't know how truthful or how much of a lie that truly is.
Well, I mean,
I'd like to believe they stuck as much to the story as possible.
In this movie, they did stick very close to the real story of those first, like 30-something years of his life, 29 years or whatever. The problem comes from you didn't finish the story, but again, we're going to get into that. I think the biggest takeaway from this, and somebody said it in an article somewhere too, it's impossible to make a normal movie about Michael Jackson. You just can't.
You can't.
There's,
he wasn't a normal man.
This is a very abnormal situation. Love him or hate him, you will admit that this man was not like everyone else. No. And so it's hard to really pinpoint exactly my feelings for this movie, because I've always had a love-hate relationship with Michael Jackson in general, because of the fact that, he was the king of pop. His music is incredible. He never put out a bad album. There was great songs on every album. We grew up with him. Our parents, spent their early adulthood. Well, they grew up with the Jackson 5 and spent their early adulthood listening to him. And, you cannot deny that he's an amazing performer and singer-songwriter. But given his situation, it's hard to... The things that we know now, it's kind of hard to be like, well, he was this untouchable force, not controversial at all, you know. It's not true, you know.
Yeah.
So it's one of those situations where it's like the movie was great, but it didn't really touch on what it probably should have touched on, and because of that, it's not as good as it could have been. And I think that's where a lot of the critics have come in as well.
That being said, at the end it does say like his story continues.
Spoilers! We're gonna get into all of that. You're skipping ahead, Miss Pingrino. You're skipping ahead.
How dare you!
Here's the thing. You know, there was a time when I believed he did what he did to the children, but then there was a time when I didn't believe it. And now I'm at a point in my life where I don't know. I just don't know. And I don't know what to say. I don't know how to feel. I don't know what to think. You know, I grew up with all the jokes, and we made the jokes about, you know, him possibly being, you know, what he could have been. I mean, we lived through the jokes.
If you go to Neverland, it says you must be this high to ride Michael.
We laughed at the jokes.
Michael is claiming racism. I'm going, honey, you gotta pick a race first.
They were somewhat funny. But we also felt bad for him, you know. We also, even if you thought he did it, you couldn't help but feel bad for him and what he'd been through and what he was going through even then. And that's what makes this so confusing and so conflicting when it comes to this person and his movie. I don't know how to feel, Miss Pingrino. I don't know how to feel.
I'm tired. I've been under a lot of stress. I lost my wife, I lost my job, and I've got some sort of rash from making in the bushes.
Huh?
I don't know either. I will say I had some inkling, but I don't think I realized the abuse in the family was as much as it was.
Well, you know, I've seen documentaries and interviews with him, and there was I think it was a TV movie about him growing up. That came out in the 90s at some point, and I mean, it showed in great detail even then, and he explained in great detail how he and his brothers both were all very mistreated, you know, when they were growing up for no reason other than Joe Jackson wanted to live off of their fame. And so that's exactly what he did.
Because they had talent and he wanted to use it for his own gain.
Exactly. But I mean, given what we were given, if that makes sense, from this movie I thought was very well done. I criticize it as many other film critics have. Listen to me, I'm calling myself a film critic.
Oh, good for you!
No, I criticize it as many film critics do because they don't touch on everything in his life. You know, he looked like the victim for those first 20 some odd years.
Yeah.
Then, you know, he looked like the prey in those few years. And then a lot of us believe, not necessarily me, I said a lot of us, but a lot of people believe that he was more the predator when it came to the 90s into the 2000s. So it's, you know, we don't know. Again, it goes back to my original point. We don't know enough about the situation.
I mean, personally, given what you see, you can tell that he was abused very young. He probably never, I mean, he didn't have a childhood. His brain probably did not develop as the way it should have.
Right.
With the lessons that he should have received or should not have received.
Yeah.
Where that took him, if that was just inappropriate relationships, truly inappropriate relationships with children, or just, you know, having children as friends, which is inappropriate
See,
for
that,
adults.
You nailed it. Oh, you hit it right on the head. Was it an inappropriate relationship with children, or was it just a relationship that was kind of inappropriate?
Inappropriate.
You know, and which one was it?
Stop tape for discussion.
Yeah.
And that's where we are to this day. You know, closing in on 20 years after his death, and we're still trying to figure it out. And it's almost impossible to do.
Yeah.
But this movie was more like a love letter to the fans. It was a tribute to him musically, and it doesn't really. It also doesn't go into, you know, super deep depth about him, other than what he went through in his childhood, and how he gained independence from his family. Again, looking kind of like the hero. It was like a hero type film. But, you know, we don't... It just seemed like a behind the music. Oh, how did he write this song?
Yeah.
You know, how did he come up with Thriller? How did he come up with Vincent Price doing the end monologue? Oh, he was watching a Vincent Price movie because he was a big fan of old horror movies. Like, okay, that's great.
Yeah.
But you're not telling us what we need to know, you know? And the reason why is because the Jackson family had their hands all over this movie. There's Jackson fingerprints all over it, you know? Fingerprints. And that's not usually what happens. Usually, if an artist...
Well, all except for one Jackson.
Well, we'll get to that. Anytime that a biopic film is done about an artist, and that artist has passed away, the estate has to give the okay...
For said movie.
To make a movie about them. Generally what happens is the family and or the estate will say, you have our blessing, you may make a movie about it, you know, here's some little tidbits that maybe you didn't know or you should know before you make this movie, and Godspeed. No, at the end of the movie, them credits, so-and-so Jackson, so-and-so Jackson, so-and-so Jackson, it was Jackson, they Jacksoned all over that movie, okay?
That's a term of phrase.
All over it.
Nice.
So much so that the star of the movie was Michael's freaking nephew. And we're going to get more into all of this. All of this. We're going to get into it all, Mr. Greeno.
You sure about that?
Do we have time for this?
But the point is that the Jacksons had their hands all over it. And so that's why I feel like they didn't really...
Make the movie they wanted to make.
That the public deserved. If that's a better way. I know they made the movie they wanted to make. I don't think they made the movie that we would have wanted to make. Even though, because I am listen, at the end of the day, I'm a Michael Jackson fan. Do I know what happened? No. You know, I keep my mind open just in case there's a chance that he may have done something like that. I'm always like on guard, aware, and if we hear anything, I'm out. But I love his music. I can't help but love his music.
Really good.
You know, he didn't put out a bad album. So...
Because Billie Jean is not his girl.
I'm bad. You know it.
What has he had?
Speaking of his nephew looks a shit ton like him. Or at least they made his nephew look a shit ton.
He was the highlight of the movie. He really was. Because he looked just like him, sounded just like him. He's Jermaine Jackson's son. And
which one?
One of the brothers.
Which one?
Jermaine.
1, 2, 3, 4.
I don't know.
Oh.
They weren't numbered.
They were in age.
What are they, Cat in the Hat? We got Jackson 1, Jackson 2, Jackson 3.
It's ultimately 5.
An unmitigated disaster.
But the point is Jermaine's son Jaffar was the star of this movie.
Jaffar.
That's his name, Jaffar Jackson. And I find it interesting. I do love that aspect because he knew Michael personally. He knew Joe Jackson personally. That was his grandfather. You know, he grew up with all of that. Granted, he was born in the mid '90s, so I mean, Michael was already a controversial figure at his point, and he had been fully emancipated from Joe, and so all of that stuff, all that shit was in the past at that point.
Right.
But you know, he still had to have learned all of this stuff. He still probably would have had to have seen all of this, you know, some of the stuff. Heard stories,
things like that.
You know, he'd been through it. So if there was anybody that could play it, you know, Jaffar Jackson did the best job because I mean he does look a whole hell of a lot like him.
Shit ton like him.
And sounds just like him too. And
was that him singing?
That was him singing.
That's what I thought.
That's terrifying. Like, it was terrifying how much he looked like. I think maybe Jaffar should get a DNA test. Maybe they told him that he was Jermaine's son, but maybe he was secretly Michael's son. Who knows? The point I'm trying to make is that he was the right guy for this. He was without a doubt the perfect candidate to play this. You couldn't find anybody else to play that role perfectly.
No.
And he was great. I also want to give a shout out to Coleman Domingo, who played Joe Jackson in the movie. They made him look just like Joe Jackson. From when he was younger in the 60s to the late 80s when he started to look, that man just looked like a demon, didn't he? He's terrifying looking.
Those like green eyes.
Yeah, Joe Jackson in real life was terrifying looking, and I'm willing to bet they took liberty with that and tried to make Coleman Domingo look super frightening as well.
I'm sure they did.
They tried to make him look scary, but the way they aged him, they made him look kind of greasy towards and the Jerry curl.
Well, the Jerry curl made him greasy.
It was so
make a Jerry curl.
Right,
a jug of green.
It's all it is. But he did such a great job, and he was so convincing too. Coleman Domingo is one of those guys that's always been under the radar. He's like one of those really great actors that you really didn't know. Exactly. But all of a sudden he's come up in the world and you're like, oh, this is a damn fine actor. And he did a marvelous job as Joe Jackson. So
too bad his character was a butthole.
Right. So if there's one thing that you can say that I think everybody can agree on was 100% fantastic was the acting and the portrayals of everybody in the movie, because they did a very good job with
For sure.
A fantastic job. But like you said earlier, there was one Jackson that wasn't in the movie, and that made the movie really awkward for me. And that was Janet. Janet Jackson's not in the movie.
Yeah.
You know, she became a celebrity in the 70s. She was on Good Times, I think, the sitcom Good Times, when she was a little kid, and then she became obviously a huge pop star herself. But that was
she wasn't mentioned. She wasn't seen. They didn't say her name once. Nothing.
And I've been trying to kind of rack my brain over the last few days. Was like, is it a situation kind of like where she was there the whole time, but we just happen to never see her, in these scenes, you know what I mean? Like, but she was still there, or was this kind of like a universe where Janet Jackson never existed?
It feels like a universe where Janet Jackson never existed.
I'm leaning towards that
too. They did, all you saw was LaToya and the mom when there were women in there.
Yes.
That's it.
Yeah.
Nobody else.
I've written down here, reports suggest that Janet, along with the siblings Randy and Rebby, intentionally distanced themselves because there was a sixth. There's another boy, Rebby. Yeah, intentionally distracted themselves from the project. Distanced themselves.
You're done.
Distanced themselves from the project, which is produced with the involvement of the Michael Jackson estate. So they just didn't want to do it. And I wrote down the quote that LaToya Jackson gave as to why she didn't do it. And this is what she says: "There was absolutely no problem whatsoever. None whatsoever. Please believe it." There's no quicker way for me to not believe you.
That seems like a very, believe me, there's no problem, believe me.
This is the greatest movie.
This is the greatest movie ever made.
Greatest movie about Michael Jackson ever made, believe me. We didn't need Janet because Janet's dead weight. We just need her.
That's what that sounds like to me.
Yeah, exactly. No, it sounds like backpedaling at its best. And so it really, that whole thing makes me really...
In my mind, a more, proper statement would be like, they didn't want to relive their trauma. Doing this brought back memories they didn't wish to see again.
Right.
Michael has passed. They don't want to bring it back. Like, they're done.
Like, there could have been a real reason.
Yeah.
But all they're saying is that, she didn't want to do it. And then LaToya comes in with Hot Bliss. She's not mad. We promise she's not mad. It's okay. Please believe us. It's okay.
This is fine.
That's what it sounded like.
Yeah.
But yeah, so it sounds like to me that maybe Janet had an issue with all this.
Question: Has Janet's always been on Michael's side?
Very
right?
supportive of Michael.
Like he's never done anything wrong.
Yeah.
He is who he is.
Yeah.
So like the way this movie was made, there was no reason for her really to not. I mean, it shows him in a good light. Besides the abuse and stuff, but that's not bad towards him.
The only thing that I can get from that is she must have been like, you can't, probably how we all feel, like you can't really make a movie about Michael Jackson, unless you say there's a chance he was a PDF file. I don't know if we can say
PDF file.
I don't know if we can say the word on YouTube. But
I thought it was a JPEG.
Oh, there's jokes in this episode. There's jokes. Finally, it took till episode 99 to get some jokes on this show.
You're welcome.
Yo! Blah, 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 blah.
Oh, brother, this guy stinks!
You know, there's also like the possibility because, okay, and this is going into like, you know, my mom's an occupational therapist. I myself also fall on the scale.
Mm-hmm.
This movie kind of makes Michael Jackson seem like he falls on the autism scale.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe they didn't want, like, maybe she wasn't comfortable with that.
Right, because Michael, again, this is where we feel bad for him. This is where we feel sorry for him. He was a child at heart until the very end.
Yeah.
At 50 years old, he was a child at heart because he never truly had a childhood, and his dad fucked him up, okay?
Hardcore.
No matter what happens, he was fucked up, and it was from his dad. So, you know, I think Janet just didn't want to stir up all that. There had been some documentaries made about him in the past. One called Leaving Neverland, which it was basically a whole thing trying to prove that he did what he did, because it was done by a director, but it was collaborated by the two people that accused him of that. So, like, he's been through a lot.
Yeah.
Even after his death, even after he died, he was still being put through the ringer for everything. And so
if one had to venture to guess, she probably just wanted to let her brother rest in peace.
Let it
like,
just,
you know, we've done enough. We've investigated his life enough. Can we just, you know, have his music in memoriam and just let it lie?
We've done the thing.
Yeah.
We've done it. Let him rest. You know, enjoy the memories. Enjoy the music. Is basically
which would be a better way for LaToya to have said what she said.
Yeah.
Because then it starts making you question.
It makes me think.
Yeah.
There must have been some problems behind the scenes. Yeah. So it's weird. So I don't know why Janet really wasn't involved. I don't get all that, and it seems like there, just like Michael himself, there was just a lot of controversy surrounding this movie. And again, critics are you know, it's huge with the audience, because again, the movie is like a love letter to the audience, a love letter to the fans.
I mean, it really put out there the reason you fell in love with Michael.
Right.
Why you just, for as much as bad publicity he could have had, you still loved him. Like, it was so hard to try and believe other things.
Right. You know, and he would always tell you, don't believe what the press says about me, you know. And so, but it's weird. So, you know, it is a love letter to the fans. So the box office is bigly huge right now, bigly. But the critics are hating it. And it's because it doesn't feel like you're telling the real story of Michael Jackson, because there's a dark side in there too.
You're only telling the first half is the problem.
And that gets to that ending you were mentioning earlier. Segue.
The end of the movie. The end of the movie is almost like at his high point.
It was at
when he has finally stepped away from his family. He has stepped away from the Jackson 5. He is fully just Michael.
Spoiler: it ends on his Bad tour.
Yeah.
The tour for Bad, the Bad album.
And it just kind of, you know, ends, and it says, and his story continues. So the question is, did they not want to go into the second part of the story? Did they not want to open up that can of worms? Or are they leaving room to eventually go into it? They just couldn't make a 4-hour movie to encompass his entire life.
And it's incredible, because we talked about this, was it Sunday or Monday? We had the same discussion.
Yeah.
You thought it meant it was going into a sequel. I thought it was sort of like metaphorical, like his story continues.
There's more to it, but we're not going to talk about it.
Well, then yesterday, I went onto the Wikipedia page to see how much money it had made up to that point. And they had just added this part at the bottom where it says possible sequel. It wasn't there originally when I first looked there to see how it was doing when it first came out. Just yesterday it came out, possible sequel, and they said at the end of the movie it says his story continues, and so it's rumored that there may be a second film, or maybe it was metaphorical, saying, or something like that, saying that it was we just had that discussion.
We literally just had that discussion.
We just talked about that.
Because it does leave you open for both. You know, and that being said, because the Jacksons did have their name all over it, are they going to allow for a sequel to where it gets into touchy topics, or are they just gonna literally let everything lie at this point? You've seen his background, you've heard rumors of other things, but we're gonna let it lie right here, and you just know what you know.
And that's why, at the end of the day, Miss Pellegrino, this movie asks more questions than answers.
It does.
It's like a big mystery. This whole movie is like a giant mystery.
It is nice to get to see how he was, like, being so involved in making of his music and his videos and his sound and who he was. Because his mom was very, you know, always about that. Like, you are who you are. Do not change.
Yeah. Which is great.
Yeah.
But again, if you're going to do a biopic about somebody,
you need to know the whole
you have to tell the whole story, and the whole story was not told. And so it's interesting. I think that this movie will be looked upon more fairly if a sequel does come out.
Yeah.
If they don't do a sequel,
it's not going to be looked at so good.
It's going to be a controversial film at the end of the day. But again, for what it is, it was a very good film. And so that leads to the quick question, Mr. Pellegrino, would you recommend Michael?
I would, ultimately, because if you are a Michael Jackson fan, no, it's not the whole story, but it's probably a lot of the story that you didn't necessarily know. We know the second part. That was more broadcasted. That first part, he tried to stay mysterious, and boy, his life kind of did.
Yeah.
So it brought to life more of the mysterious part that we never got.
Right.
Do I want there to be a second one? Yes, because ultimately, if you're going to open the can of worms, you opened it. Finish it. Close it. Eat them all. Like, I need to know everything.
I don't eat worms.
Well...
Surprise, motherfucker.
Do I still, if you like Michael Jackson, do I think you should still go see it? Yeah, I do.
I think that was the point I was going to get to in mine. If you're a big Michael Jackson fan, because I mean, again, when we went to go see it, it was packed house, and there was people wearing Michael clothing and stuff like that.
One lady in front of us told us she wanted to get up and dance.
I was like,
please
God, don't do that. I don't have to yell at people.
Thank God she didn't.
She didn't. But yeah, it's like, you know, so if you're a diehard fan, you're gonna love it. But if you were looking for like the real story told,
if you were looking for a total explanation, the totality is not there.
This is not your movie, and so for that, it does cause a lot of controversy. But yeah, I mean, if you're a big Michael fan, you're gonna love it. So
worth it.
I'm really just leaving it up to you. If you want to go see it, see it. If you don't. It's kind of my thing. But I mean,
if you want to wait till it goes on streaming, that way you can be pissed and or happy at home.
Yeah, yeah.
That's fine too.
You'd be pissed and or happy at home.
Yeah.
Then that's it.
That's it. Hee
99 of this shit.
99. Wonder what 100 will be.
Your butthole.
No. No. No.
Miss Pellegrino. Miss Pellegrino.
Hey. Come on, wake up. It's time to go to bed. You've been sleeping in here for hours. Come on, let's get you to bed. Come on.
Bye bedtime.
Silly. Come on.